September 15th, 2016 is the day Julie George's life changed forever. The day her son Dylan Walling took a motorcycle ride south of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. The day she received the phone call every parent dreads.
And it was the police chief for Trempealeau County telling me that my son had been in an accident and it wasn't looking good. He was speeding and he was passing a few cars and he was going to pass the manure spreader and then realized that the manure spreader was going to take a left and he got back into the right lane and didn't have time to stop. So he hit the manure spreader full speed.
The 21-year-old, wearing a full face mask and helmet, hit the manure spreader at 80 miles per hour.
We're going to be receiving a young man who was involved in a motorcycle crash, severely injured, agonal, essentially near dead.
Dylan was airlifted by Mayo 1 helicopter to Mayo Clinic Health System in Eau Claire, the only verified Level 2 trauma center in western Wisconsin. With only 5 minutes to prepare for Dylan's arrival, trauma surgeon Dr. David Ciresi and more than a dozen members of his team raced into action.
And what we always like to say is like NASCAR. So when you watch the NASCAR pit crews jump over the wall, you got the right tire guy, you got the gas guy, left tire guy. Very similar with trauma response. Everybody has their role and their job as to what they're supposed to be doing.
We got to the hospital and I said, I'm here for Dylan Walling. And they were waiting for us.
So I remember just even to this day I can remember when they brought Dylan over and we transferred him over, it was a very short scene flight. They didn't have, he was so shocky that they were worried about putting the breathing tube in. They, started to prepare to do that, but they were in essentially scoop and run mode. So they were just trying to step on the gas to get him here. So he was not intubated, very pale, it was the color of my coat, ashen with this beard, and having done trauma care for a long time, 19 years here, when you see a patient who's imminent for death, and that's what he looked like. He was trying to die in front of us.
After a rapid evaluation, doctors determined Dylan had devastating, life-threatening injuries to his internal organs, numerous broken bones in his arm, leg, and foot, along with a head injury.
He had an 88% chance of dying as the nature of his injuries.
Within 14 minutes of Mayo 1 landing, Dylan was in an operating room.
I opened his abdomen up and 4,000 cc's of blood poured out. Now his entire circulating volume of his entire body was about probably 7,000. He essentially had exsanguinated into his abdomen and was bleeding from his liver. So his liver was cracked in two.
Dylan's first round of life-saving procedures, which included nearly 35 units of blood and plasma, lasted 8 hours. After an agonizing wait, Julie saw her son for the first time in the critical care unit.
He wasn't moving. He couldn't breathe on his own. He was just laying there. I prayed. I prayed for my son's life.
The next day, Dylan faced another 8 hours of additional surgeries and additional complications. He was facing the very real possibility of having his leg amputated. And then came the brain swelling.
Much like when you bruise your knee, when you hurt it, boy, it hurt a lot. And when you check a couple days later, you'll see that blood and it'll look that way. Brain's the same way.
A monitor was placed in Dylan's brain to check the pressure. For a week, Dylan remained in a coma as his life hung in the balance. Julie and her family were confronted with making some hard choices.
So about day 5, the pressure monitor was out, and he really wasn't waking up like we wanted, and he was critically injured. And so I've been talking with Julie and the rest of the family. I said, we're gonna probably wait another 48 hours to see what he can do. But we don't want to keep him alive if he's gonna be like this. What are your wishes? What would Dylan want?
We had to start thinking about how Dylan would want to live.
Pastors from Julie's church came to the hospital and asked if they could hold a special prayer service for Dylan. She agreed.
It was a Wednesday night, and the next day was Thursday, and Dylan woke up.
One of the questions, the commands that we'll do is like we say, give him thumbs up. So that tells me as a surgeon that he hears the command, he can follow that and do that. It's an active motion. And that was just so exciting for me. I was like, oh, he's in there.
And it was that day too that he woke up that we were gonna take him off life support. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
His first words, though faint because of a tracheotomy, "Hi, Mom." Dr. Ciresi says if a level 2 trauma center had not been available for Dylan's immediate care, his outcome would have been very different.
Well, not all hospitals are the same. And so this is why, the American College of Surgeons verifies trauma centers. There's very few of them in the state of Wisconsin. Having that ability to provide for a community this size is unusual. If we don't do it, like I said before, people will die, no question about it. Do we pass the grade or not? We passed the grade. Other hospitals have not done that. So they're not a verified trauma center, and that's the big difference, is that when you have that designation, it means something.
Over 40 Mayo Clinic Health System physicians from more than a dozen departments assisted in Dylan's care.
I mean, I'm still astonished at everything that was able to be done, the amazing doctors that they have on hand right here in Eau Claire. It's absolutely amazing. It's a blessing. I mean, I don't think people realize what a great gift we have in this facility. We're all given gifts in life, and the biggest gift that I was given to was that Dylan was airlifted here to Mayo, and that there's such an amazing trauma team there, and they saved him. They really did. I am one grateful mama.